Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the program, Macers, fam around the world. What do we have today? Now, typically I try to stray away from controversial topics, darker subject matter, and political treatises, but here we have a song by Omid Tootian. It translates roughly, the English translation, the title of this, I believe, is The Age of Unconsciousness. One of you have been asking me to react to this for a number of weeks, and when you were telling me about it, I was apprehensive because it's a subject and a topic that I'm definitely not knowledgeable enough, I would say, to really make a meaningful and worthwhile interpretation and insight on it. But Omid Tootian, I believe he's a political refugee. He cannot go back to Iran. I think I read that he is stuck in sort of limbo. He was in Turkey, but then he went to Cyprus, and now he's stuck in a sort of middle zone in Cyprus and unable to leave there. He's unable to go back to Turkey, as they might send him back, Turkey might send him back to Iran. Let's have a watch. There is English subtitles included. We have some pretty, interesting and challenging art, even just by this first piece here, this sort of effigy. But we have these crows sort of picking at the brain of this person in a tomb. Oh man. All right, this will be tough. As always, everybody, thanks for joining the channel. Thanks for checking out this video. It's always a pleasure to see your guys' expertise, your insights, your information, and your knowledge in the comments. Keep the comments respectful and polite. Disagreement is fine, but hatefulness, no. Let's have a listen. So yeah, some of these art pieces, I'm not sure where they compiled these images, but they're nothing if not interesting, and rather disturbing. So there's a lot of images here conjuring up a basic premise and what I would think to be a criticism of mass media, mass telecommunication and communications. You have a gentleman sitting here, he's watching the television, and basically his brain is being invaded. His brain is being manipulated. You see what looks like a bottle of alcohol on the floor, so he's also numbing his mind and really allowing himself to be misled, allowing himself to be manipulated by this programming. He's being programmed essentially by these powers that be. And you see the children. So a similar premise here. Don't think. The children are watching the television and they're being programmed slyly. Newspaper, books. آفتاب کمرمق اقتدار سایه ها ابرهای تیر فام ریزش ستاره ها های و هوی جغد شب یورش کلاغ ها عصر بیشعوری و منطق الاغ ها. The age of ignorance, the logic of donkeys. And I mean, there is no doubt in this new hyper-information age where people are constantly facing a barrage of too much information, their attention spans are waning. I like to think of myself as having a good attention span, but there's so much information that you have to choose and pick and choose different things to dissect with your mind. And, cell phones, computers, a lot of this technology is designed, of course, through notifications and different algorithms to keep you engaged on those platforms for as long as possible, or at least giving your attention for the longest number of minutes that they can, and really keeping your mind addicted. It's really, that's the goal of a lot of these software programming. The software programming basically sets out to keep you engaged because they're businesses and they're trying to make money, and the circle goes around.
طعم تلخ روزگار ناله های سینه سوز و گریه های مادران قتل عام بی دلیل 67 خاوران جوخه و تناب تار قرش تفنگ ها لخته های سرخ خون به روی تخت سنگ ها دختران باکره ره سپار قتلگاه یک دو خون قبل مرگ طبق رأی دادگاه مرگ عشق و عاطفه مردمان روسیه و خاک مرده ریخته روی شهر پرگناه ذهن‌های منحرف و انحراف ذهن‌ها ابتدا به قعر چاه انجماد فکرها چالش گرسنگان رؤیت هلال ما سرزمین.
So I can draw some comparisons here to Shaheen Najafi, I think, for his criticism of certain geopolitical institutions and things like that. It's definitely food for thought. It's dark, though, and challenging piece of art.
این حسرت و عذاب و درد و رنج و آن قلب‌های آهنین انفجار عقده ها زندگی شیک خائنین و سرسپرده ها قتل های مستمر و دولت بی اختیار سیر جانین فروهر و فری و بختیار زنده زنده سوختن آخرین سکانس رکس بازجوی ترانه با شکنجه های سکس سینمای ارزشی بر مدار لودگی فیلم های پوچ و مبتذل رواج هرزگی مطربان خودفروش دست بوس هر رهی خوش صدا و خوش ادا و خوش لباس و کاسلیز ورزش سیاسی و سیاستی پر از درود زنده باد مرده باد متصل صدای بوق چنگ های زرگری خوک سبز یا بناش رای گیری به زور داس و چک و شد درش اختلاس و پول شویی عجیب پیش چشم خلق خفته با ظاهری نجیب ریشه های اختلاف مذهب و زبان و قوم خنده های روس و انگلیس نقشه های شوم انقلاب مخملی و انقلابی ملوز شادی یواشکی خندوان های لوس جاهلیت مدرن بردگی به سبک نو دکترین هایدگر مارکس نیچه یا اوشو موسم زوال عقل و حکمرانی جنون عصر بیشعوری و شراره های خشم و خون دوره افول عشق و انزوا و انحطاط انقلاب صنعتی ازدواج با ربات شام آخر جهان با شراب نیتروژن کیک زرد هسته‌ای و قارچ‌های هیدروژن همگرایی و وفاق در مسیر قهقرا یک سقوط ناگزیر از فرا به ماورا شنیدم در دلم باز میدهد نوی نام تو چه بود مرد مباش ناامید یک صدا در سرم پیچد و دهد نوی نام من چه بود امید 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 امید.
It's kind of jarring a little bit that he mentioned himself at the end. Wow. So it's very far-reaching, and it covers a lot of topics. But I think, some of the messaging there is about veils being sort of pulled over the eyes and covering up some of the roughness, the jagged edges underneath, kind of giving the appearance of a smooth and peaceful thing. And also mass manipulation. But, a lot of these issues, it's difficult, very difficult to sort of parse through and understand the reasons for a lot of these forces that are seemingly, because it's not forces being driven by one singular person, certainly. They're being driven by very powerful groups of people, very powerful nations, very powerful political and elitist circles of people, right? And they're things that sadly, like the individual, so you yourself watching wherever you are on the planet, there's a very, very, you're essentially helpless, right? Me, I'm just a guy from Canada, from West Coast, and when it comes to these far-reaching and really, really like we're at bay, like we're at the we're stuck, right? Like, and that's the question, the tough question. Like, what can we do? And all of these things are so like difficult to evaluate and understand the forces at play. So anyways, it's nothing if not interesting. Some of the political messaging there's mentioning Nietzsche and Karl Marx, talking about communism, capitalism. There was mentions of China. There was mentions of Russia, the hammer and the sickle. There was mentions of basically people that are complicit in whatever the criticism is aimed at. So people that are complicit. He talked about being very, very well dressed and basically called a group, bowl lickers. And I don't know who specifically he's referring to, but man, yeah, it's obviously sort of controversial piece, provocative. So I'll leave it at that. You guys, let me know. We'll see you soon. Peace out, my friends.